STREAM is a clinical trial that started in 2012, but it dates back before that. In 2008, the United States Agency for International Development put out a call for proposals for a research agreement for tuberculosis. And part of that call for proposals was a request for a clinical trial that would evaluate a shortened treatment regimen for multidrug-resistant tuberculosis. The International Union Against Tuberculosis and Lung Disease has a long history of working with programs in countries to manage tuberculosis. We have sites in many regions of the world, and we're working in a variety of ways in different sites to increase awareness about treatment for the disease, about prevention for the disease, and the availability of services as well as the research study. Tuberculosis is a huge public health challenge globally. It's one of the top 10 leading causes of death in the world. And multi-drug-resistant tuberculosis is even that much more of a challenge in a number of ways. Each year, approximately 500,000 people are affected with multi-drug-resistant tuberculosis. And what's more concerning is the gap between those who are affected by the disease and those who are treated by the disease.
If a patient has a TB, he has to leave his job. No one has to give him a job. Also, no one can give him a house for rent. Everything is complicated. Patients do not want to come every morning to the hospital because neighbors, families may bring their attention to them.
TB still high in the public, even young ages. In Mongolia, very young countries, and then very bad results. Young age groups, very high TB infections.
Сайн дөрөв одоо энийгч байхгүйсэн болвол би эмнэлэг дээрээ очиж байгаа. Тэгэхээр эмнэлэг дээрээ очиж байгаа гэхээр ингээд айгүй хол зайтай. Тэгээд өдөр болох ингээд очиод яас уугаад явах. Хэцүү л дээ. Очиод тэгэл эмээ уучаад тэр дороо ингээд сууждахгүй тэгэл гараа явчихна. Тэгэл явж явах замдаа бас ингээд хүмүүсийн хувьд бол ингээд толгой одоо манраал дотор муу хоёр гээл тэгээ айгу хэцүү тэгээ тэрний ороод ингээд гэртээ ингээд зүлгэж ууснараа
I'm always saying that it was not a treatment, it was a torture because the drugs are they're uncomparable to the drugs for TB sensible. I had very difficult side effects of this injectable. I was losing my balance and I was falling down, and I insisted that these injectables are taken away from the treatment.
The biggest challenge is the huge percentage of loss to follow-up. And the major contributor to this loss to follow-up is the long duration of treatment, which is 20-24 months, which according to the current guidelines, it is still valid.
ከባድ ነው መጀመሪያ የተላመደ ቲቢ ነው ሲባል አንደኛ መድኃኒት ብቻ ሳይሆን ማስበው ለረጅም ጊዜ መድኃኒቱ ለአንድ ዓመት ከ8 ወር መውሰዱን ሳስበው ራሱ መጀመሪያ ከወሰድ ኪኒን ድካም አንፃር አስቤ እንደ ከባድ ነገር ነበር ያየሁት።
From 18 months to 24 months with 8 months injection, it's tiresome. Sometimes the patient refuses to follow, attend the medication, and they disappear with no clue to find them.
When I was first diagnosed with tuberculosis, I was very, very scared. I thought I was going to die best. When I heard that with MDR, you had to take medication for 2 years. Immediately I just thought, hey, my life is gone.
So there are many areas where improvement is required. In terms of the diagnosis, it's still a relatively difficult diagnosis to make in many settings in the world. But even when adequately diagnosed, the available treatments today are really inadequate on a number of levels. The average person had to take 14,000 pills during their course of treatment in order to be cured. That's clearly inadequate for patients and for their families. And even with more recent developments to a shorter regimen, it's still a difficult disease to be treated, and further advances are required.
The STREAM trial is so important for South Africa because our patients have been on treatment for 2 years. So what STREAM will bring, it will reduce the duration of treatment, like from 24 months to 9 months. And also the stream 2, what is good about it, it eliminates the injection, because the injection, it causes a hearing problem to our patient.
I joined stream, and then I was told that I was going to take medication only for 6 months, and then I'm now in my last month of my course, so I'm very happy. And like as soon as I finish the course, I will get my life back.
In 2012, stage 1 of the trial began in 4 countries and ultimately recruited 424 patients into the trial, which evaluated a shortened treatment regimen of 9 months versus the 20 to 24 month treatment regimen. And in stage 2 of the trial, a new drug is being used in the shortened regimen to see if that can further improve the effectiveness of the regimen.
I think even the 9 months can seem long to some people, but compared to the 2 years, it's way shorter. Especially because within the 2 years, any person can eventually give up, and maybe that's why it's spreading so much as well. You can only hold on and try for so long. So the 9 months, I think, it's essential. Like, we need this ASAP.
This is not a project that could be done with one individual or one organization. And if it wasn't for the collection of groups and organizations that have come together to work collaboratively, and most importantly at country level, wasn't for the nurses and the doctors, the community advisory boards, the pharmacists, all the people who are coming together to make this work at each stage of the trial, it wouldn't be possible. And so we're very grateful for everybody who's doing their part to ultimately see this project through to success.
Одоо энэ сурж байгаа мэргэжлэрээ ажиллаад тэгээд ингээд гэр бүлтэй те эхнэр хүүхэдтэйгээ ингээд элэг бүтэн амьдраад тэгээд эрүүл их тэгээд ингээд